Well, hello there, demons. How you guys doing? We have some special guests here. These are my daughters. Iris, raise your hand. Iris is 7, and Talise is how many? 4. These students are 10th graders. They're sophomores. So when you get to be, I think it's like 16 years old, 15, 16, you might have world history with Daddy. Nice. All right. They just wanted to say hi. Let's get to work, demons. So, as you know, for today, guys, we've got one main objective, and that's to turn in your SDL. This is the first grade that's going to be going into the summative category. So as you know, that's worth 65% of your grade. So let's make sure that we've got a high effort level. Make sure that you are revising, editing, and taking a look at all the directions and rubrics. So we've got a lot of resources available to you. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together. And everything in this class is meant to be able to set you up for success on that SDL. So let's take a look what we got going on today. First of all, for the warm-up, in its learning, there is a document that has a bunch of different ways to be able to demonstrate your learning. So it's a Google Doc it's linked in the warm-up. So you just need to click on that. It looks like this. It's 2 pages, and there's probably like 200 different ways to be able to demonstrate your learning. Will all of those 200 ways work with this SDL? No, they will not. That is why, like it says, for this SDL prompt, what are the 3 best ways, sorry, that's a typo, best ways you see to demonstrate your learning? So, take a look, choose the 3 best ways that you can see that you might be able to demonstrate this prompt right here. So remember, for today, we are going to be choosing a historical source that you haven't already used in your exit ticket so far, connected to one of the historical eras for this course, and then you're going to evaluate how that source has been influenced by historical context and the author's point of view. So that's our objective for today, because as you can see here for the learning objective, that is exactly basically how it's described in what we're going to be doing today, because you're ready to be able to demonstrate that without any training wheels, just going and doing it. So I'm going to not really have a very long video today. It's just basically setting you guys up, but you are going to be dedicating a pretty good chunk of time to world history today, hybrid students. So make sure that you have some uninterrupted time today to be able to do this. Okay. So for example, you might want to take a look at this product list, hit pause, determine the best 3 ways to be able to demonstrate your learning, because we're going to be coming back to this very, very shortly. Okay, once again, I have the prompt up here. If you'd like to reread it, you're welcome to, but we already went over it just now. First step, like it says in the prompt. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Like it says in the prompt, you need to choose an era. I've got some of you guys that have just been sticking in the Holocaust, which is a very interesting era, or sticking in one of the world wars, which is also a very, very interesting era. There's a lot of stuff there. But for those people, I'd like to encourage you to branch out, choose a new era. And if you don't, if you stay in that same era, unfortunately, I'm gonna ask you to redo your SDL. So make sure that you're doing that. That's step 1. Step 2. On the assignment that you got on Thursday, it had this document, and you needed to go through day 1. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this presentation real quick, and I am going to go to my document as if I was a student for day 1. So here's what I did. I didn't do everything because that's your job. I turned these into bullet points because I'm adding some stuff, and it was easier for me, instead of having numbers, just to be able to click this one right here, which makes it a bulleted list. What area am I going to focus on? I'm just going to put it right here. I will focus on blank, this era. And then you go back to the resource that you have, and it has all the different eras that we can go to. That's step 1. Choose an era that you haven't already done. What are 3 different events or developments within this era? Well, that might require you to go to some sources, and a good thing for this is actually a tertiary source. So you might want to cite, here are some events for this era, and I'm going to show where I got that. Even if it's Wikipedia, that's okay. And then I'm going to put in the link for Wikipedia. As far as I'm going to go to Wikipedia, space age, not space agencies. That is not correct. Google, you messed up. Space age. Go to the Wikipedia for space age. It says some of the events within here. I'm going to look through that. I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to make sure to put that in my document. Make sure that you're citing everything that you get to, even if it's just with a hyperlink. Okay. So then I'm going to write down all of the different, at least 3 different events. Okay. One development or event that you'd like to focus and find a primary source. And then you're going to find the URL. You're going to put that right there. Do the date of the source. A lot of you guys found some good dates last time, but even if it's just the month and the year, or even the year, depending on what you're doing. Author, it might be a person. It might just be like the name of a website if you can't find the author. How do you know if it's a primary source? You're going to explain that. I know, and then I'm going to go right here. I know because, and then you're going to write it down. Discuss the historical context and perspective. What I did here, guys, is I went to these slides and I said, okay, I'm going to copy this. This is what it says as far as historical context. Copy it and put it right here. Same thing with bias and perspective. On this slide deck, guys, it has a whole slide number 8, related to bias and perspective. So you're going to be able to, and if it's from last class, it's not slide 8, but it still looks like this. So you're going to go into this and you're going to be using this, if you'd like, as a guide to be able to determine the bias and perspective of your source. Okay, so then I'm going to put that right in here. And then last step, how will you demonstrate your learning? So that's where we go back to this document. Some of you guys might just say, I want to just like maybe create a video, or I might just want to just say there's a feature on It's Learning where you can just record your voice. That's okay too. But if you want to get a little bit more creative, then there's a lot of different ideas based off of the warm-up that you guys already took a look at to be able to demonstrate your learning. Some of it's not going to work. Can you create a piece of jewelry that is related to bias and perspective in relation to a historical source? Probably not. So some of this stuff is actually going to set you up for failure. So make sure that you're choosing something that will still get at every element of that rubric. Speaking of rubric, guys, let's take a look real quick, because we've gone through and we've determined step 1, step 2, step 3. You've determined how you're going to demonstrate it. And then the final step is to be able to take a look at the rubric. I'm assuming that you guys, knowing what I know about you, are going to be shooting for this area as far as proficient. So make sure that you're going through everything that you need to have within your product that shows that you're proficient at this performance indicator. And then, hey, if you've got some time, you might even want to take a look at exemplary. I know a lot of you guys are like, hey, I want to get a 95% instead of just an 85%. I'd like to get an A in this class. Well, go for it. Go for exemplary. All right. So I think that we're at a good spot as far as setting you up for success on this SDL. The rest is up to you guys. So it's due at 11:59 p.m. today, which is Monday the 20th. So it is up to you guys to be able to, 21st. It's up to you guys to be able to do the rest. So hopefully this video helped out. Make sure you're using your resources. Make sure you're going into your document and covering all those items as far as historical context, bias, perspective, and how that influenced the source. You guys are amazing historians. I think you guys are doing great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are able to do on this SDL. Take care, guys.